Hello Stellar Souls, welcome back to my channel. It's Sam here with another pick a card reading, and this time I'm going to combine love and money and career for November in one reading. Bear with me because I'm just kind of figuring out a new editing software, so it kind of puts me off doing these readings a little bit, but we have to do the hard things. I also just want to say that I've changed my YouTube membership, so I am going to be doing like early access to readings for members. I'm going to be doing members only readings, and if I ever feel that there is a collective reading that needs an extended, that will also go in there. Plus I will be doing more spicy kind of readings in there as well, which I did want to do on TikTok, but I just think it's a better place for it on YouTube. What else do I have to tell you? Always use your intuition. We are here to connect and hone your intuition to help you gain clarity, empower yourself, and get in alignment, okay? So if it's not for you, click to another pile. And if you just don't feel drawn to any of the piles, trust that and leave it alone, okay? Without any further ado, this is pile number 1, this is pile number 2, and this is pile number 3. All the timestamps are in the description box below. Take a moment, meditate on this, decide how you want to feel at the end of the reading as well. Like, put your intention into how you want to receive this reading, okay? Take a deep breath, ground yourself, and I will see you in your reading. Pile number 1, if you chose the pink heart, this is your first card, and this is your reading for November, all about love, money, and career. I'm combining all of them. So you got the Experimenter, card number 23, and it says, I am strong and secure enough to experiment as I see fit. Oh, I really like that. I'll pop that there. So you might be having a little bit more fun. This is giving Jupiter energy. This is giving Sagittarius energy, which is very prevalent for this month, actually. Let's start off with just the energy overall for pile number 1. Yeah, 10th house. I'm strong and secure enough to experiment as I see fit, because I see fit that it's time for me to level up, that it's time for me to roll out the red carpet on my own life. And maybe have someone roll out the red carpet for you. And this is not delusion. You know, delusion can get us a long way, but I feel like this is actually, wow, my throat chakra closing up there. This is actually a result of your discipline. This is actually a result of, I know I'm putting in the hard yards here. And it does, look, success does not have to come with hard, okay? So be aware that, like, you could know that you've stumbled upon, that you dreamt up, that, you know, very quickly all blocks were cleared and you were able to take a product from a dream one night to conception the next, like completely out on the market the next day, you know, and there could be an understanding that I've got something great here. And that might not seem hard, but your discipline of being able to activate that is what needs to be respected and valued and appreciated, okay? Mercury, yeah, I knew there was something with the throat chakra coming out here, and it's the way you market this. It's the way you market yourself. It's the way that you communicate to yourself and say, no, I am worth it. I might get one more. Actually, bottom of the deck energy, let's go with that. Pluto and transformation. Yeah, this is you tapping into a deep well. Like, it may look like this happened overnight, but this was, you know, 25 years in the making, you know, of me educating myself and all those. It's one of those things where it's like all those jobs that I've had and all those people that I've met, all those failed relationships, quote unquote, have helped me evolve, and have, like, the compost of those have helped me to grow something even better out of this. Everything that ended brought me to this point so that I could begin this. So something really beautiful is transforming here. Let's talk about love in November. Let's talk about love in November for pile number 1. What do they need to know and who's coming towards them? Wow. Kind of got that from the Pluto energy, to be honest. The devil showing up here. you're utilizing a depth of yourself that perhaps you've avoided, you know, because people tell you to be honestly, people tell you to be a good person that colors between the lines. But in this situation, I feel like you're like, hang on a minute. I have a truth to share. I have something new that's cutting through the muck. Who said we have to do something the way it's always been done? And it makes me think of Daniel Flynn, one of the founders of a brand called Thank You Water. They've got hand wash and stuff like that. And they do a lot. I think it's a not-for-profit, but he wrote a book called Chapter 1, and it's like, you have the power to change stuff. And it's a book that is sideways. It's written that way. Okay. And so it's like, I'm daring greatly, right? I'm daring enough, and I'm hungry enough for this level. And maybe, you know what, we've got to use the things that drive us, right? Maybe you really are drawn to the life of an influencer or the life of a celebrity, and it doesn't need to be a big time celebrity. It can be like a celebrity in your own town, you know, and you're like, I actually want to be wealthy, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the kind of wealthy that, let's get some more information. I mean, that's not even love related. What the message that came out there is very much like business related. Okay. What else about love? Because I'm reading, obviously Spirit has a wow, okay, has their own way that they want me to read today. And that's interesting because I did go into this with kind of no plan and no particular layout in mind. So I'll go with it. And we're going to mix all of this together. So because they're wanting to talk about business and money, let's keep going with that. I do feel like you might need to break away from a position where, even a partnership where people have been overdoing it, or it's kind of like they haven't been moving forward because they've been celebrating too soon. They've been having too much fun and not really getting down to the nitty gritty. And you're getting a bit antsy, you know, this time of year. You're trying to wrap things up. And that's the thing. A lot of people try and wrap things up well before Christmas so that they can relax. But for some reason, and it's that great lock-in mentality, you are very clear about, no, I am not having another year like 2025. And maybe it's been a couple of years, right? Maybe it's been 3 years of you feeling quite stuck, and this judgment energy is coming through to kind of flush out anything that was stuck, and you're utilizing it. You're like, well, I've been given this opportunity of the universal Drano, and I'm going to use it. I'm going to flush that out. And if that means that you do have to appear quite selfish, if someone wants to make you the villain in their story because they're chilling and you're on a different wavelength, and you're actually saying, actually, instead of winding down for the year, I want to wind up so that 2026 is the year where I don't just experiment on, well, we'll see what happens. You're experimenting on, I'm going to go hard or go home. Like, I'm going to really use the information that I've been given. And it's kind of like if you're scrolling every night and you're observing people living the kind of life that you want to live, but you have a bigger degree than them, you have more life experience than them, you have better contacts than them. So, you know, it makes me think of that song, if I can do it, why can't you? If I can do it, why can't you? I built this body, you know, it's that kind of energy. I think that this Chariot in reverse, it's not your energy now. And that's the transformation that is happening here. You're using the personal power of getting so sick of your own BS and knowing that you have, there's a very like magician energy coming through with these 3 cards actually, that says you actually do have everything that you need at hand to be able to succeed. So what are you doing with it? I think at one point you had believed that you had a lack of movement, that you didn't have the vehicle for success. I think at one point you may have been either over partying or over isolating and giving into the gossip. And the gossip doesn't need to be about other people. It can be about, we're perpetuating negativity, and we're perpetuating small thinking in our group, right? That then leads me to feeling like, well, what's the point? Let's give up. But I do think, what's the catalyst? King of Pentacles. Yeah, just the desire that, you know, money isn't everything, but it definitely freaking helps. And why not live the next 10 months avoiding some people and perhaps appearing like the villain in their story and using your shadow, which might be a little bit taboo to be, especially if you were a people pleaser. Okay, especially if you were someone who was previously a doormat for other people. I don't really want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway, just to appease these people, just to fit in, just to be liked, just not to upset the apple cart. But I'm tired. You know, it's like, can I get another card on the devil, please? I feel like with the King of Pentacles as that catalyst energy, it's saying it's been too long for me to not... Yeah, King of Cups. Thank you so much for clarifying that. Because not once did I think this ego enhancement that you're having is a bad thing. I actually think it's cutting through the crap so that you can see your vision clearly and finally start to use the resources available to you and that God-given mouth of yours. Okay, now that's very specific because it's like you're busy doing nothing, but when you remember that you're the queen bee, and I'm just seeing the bees on this, then you can get the sweetest honey available. It's like, I'm going to get the job done, and I'm going to do it from a place of caring for myself more than anyone else. And it's a beautiful thing here. It's really helping you to get balanced in terms of your light and shadow attributes. And both of these, the King of Cups and the Devil, they share a level of devotion, right? The Devil can often be labeled obsessive, and the King of Cups would be more along the lines of devoted, unconditional, you know, that kind of thing. Sorry, just trying to get comfortable. And you've got the Hangman at the bottom of the deck now. So, yeah, you don't want to stay in this limbo period anymore. Whatever it is that you need to work on during November. And the rings around Saturn here are just making me think of like a racetrack, right? And so that Chariot needs to turn around. The fact that it's here at all has been delays in moving forward. It's time to start working towards that goal, no matter what opposing forces you have. You know, or you think, or you were made to believe that you have. It's time to, instead of being envious of other people and their success, it's like, let's be happy for ourselves. Because, and it's like, I just started at the gym 12 weeks ago. Like, I've been at the gym for 3 years mucking around, basically, and doing Pilates and not really knowing what else I'm doing with weights. A little personal overshare here, but I think it's a good metaphor. You can look at other people's fitness bodies, no matter how old. You know, a lot of people will say, oh, but you're comparing yourself to 20-year-olds and every 20-year-old's got a great body. It's like, well, actually, no, that's not completely fair. And has there ever been, an older lady, let's call me that, who has a fit body and who has had an epic transformation, at this age? Absolutely. It happens all the time. So why do we tell ourselves? And it's like friends, can be like, oh, I tried that once, but it's so hard to keep up. And they really want to sell you the idea that things are hard. And we love our friends, but we also have to love ourselves. And honestly, I think a lot of the time that conversations like that happen, someone's just wanting someone else to go first so that they have permission, because there's a lot of like mum guilt that goes on for certain groups of people. Dad guilt, I'm sure, is a thing as well. It's like there's a lot of guilt for, well, we're everyone, you know, the media wants to portray that everyone's doing it tough financially. And you know, even I, in my reading, sometimes I'll put that message out and then I'm like, ick, I don't like that, because we have a choice. We don't have to participate, and we can do things differently, which can then lead to much bigger, brighter results. And that's why at the very beginning here, I was like, it doesn't have to be hard. Like, why do we keep believing that? If we experiment and we try different things, we're failing faster. And these people just probably needed someone to lead, to go first, so that they could also say, actually, it's worth the sacrifice. It's worth, you know, overcoming whatever guilt or shame or embarrassment of starting new and starting fresh, or taking something seriously. Like, when did we stop celebrating that taking something seriously is a great thing? You're just in the wrong crowd. You know what I mean? So I really think this is a great business decision. This is a great money decision for you. I think it's going to lead to some beautiful results. What kind of results can we expect? Queen of Wands. It gives you a lot more energy. It gives you a lot more confidence. Justice. Lovely, right? It's like this could lead to bigger and better contracts, to deals. So you've got to align yourself with these opportunities first. You won't get picked first for gym class if you're not actually... Wow, that's interesting. My deck was completely upside down and these still came out upright. So meant to be. Where was I going with that? I don't know. I lost it. I'll come back to it. Oh yeah, you have to align yourself with the opportunities. You've got to be in the game to be seen. You don't want to be sitting on the bench celebrating. You know, it's like, let's get up. And the thing is with this as well is 12 weeks might not be long enough to completely, and in this sense, because 12 weeks is how long I've been at the training for. But in this sense, 4 weeks, we're talking about November, 4 weeks might not be enough for you to see all the results that you're wanting, but the confidence, the belief in yourself, the ideas and the follow through that you have. And then maybe it's like one small contract. Maybe it's actually, I only had to get in the game and it's appeared for me. There is a real magician energy through your whole reading of you're making some kind of magic happen. And you're no longer in denial about whose responsibility it is. King of Pentacles showing up again. It was on the bottom of the deck here before. And so it's that need to be like, well, I've waited 10 years for a miracle to happen. It's about like to land into my lap. And the habits that I've been doing are not serving me to get me where I want to go. So I'm going to, again, sacrifice the next 10 months and put in a lot of effort that other people won't, so that I can live the kind of life that other people can't, and it's like everyone else can do that too. And I know that can be triggering for some people. I know everyone else doesn't have the same opportunities as each other, but this is I'm pulling from the depths of my soul, the kind of structure and discipline and self-control and turning coal into diamonds, taking whatever resources I can. And if we have access to the internet, and we have a heart and a soul and we have compassion for other people and for making something or working on something or being someone who gets what we're asking for, someone who deserves. It's really taking yourself from underdog to top dog. And it's about damn time. Okay? If we read this for love, I also feel like this is going to lead to long-term wealth. Let me just put that out there because I want to extend past November. But, by chance, something you've been working on, but now you finally take it really, really seriously in November, be prepared that there may be some contracts coming in. Same too with love. You've been kind of hoping, wishing, waiting for something to happen. But if we experiment a little bit more, if we open ourselves up, this can say that we've been attached to someone for a really long time. And even though there might be unconditional love there, unless this person is coming through with an absolute truth, and remember these cards were in reverse before, then we're not moving anything forward. We're not celebrating. We're not having moments together. And if we're looking towards Christmas, we're not going to be celebrating, these special events that really can be transformative to one's life. It's really taking you out of a loneliness capacity and moving it into an I belong capacity. And you do have someone here. It could be a Capricorn. I'm also feeling heavy Sagittarius energy in this reading. I won't name all the signs because there's actually a lot here. But that it could be any sign. But someone who, and maybe even a Taurus, someone who is extremely slow moving because of whatever reason, whatever it is. I just think that they feel like giving up because they could be completely overwhelmed with what they've got going on. I feel like they are getting a new perspective, but this reading isn't about them. It's not about what they're going through so that you can feel sorry for them and then perhaps attach to that narrative that, well, they're just healing, they're just going through stuff, they might not be ready yet. At the end of the day, and right now, they're still uncertain about being clear with you. And so I see this as you being clear with yourself. There's also a lot of people showing up. You've got the King of Cups, the Queen of Wands, the King of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles came up before. So I feel like the King of Pentacles is the front runner. And isn't it interesting that the King of Pentacles was the driving force, the catalyst for what you want to change in your life? So again, when you get in alignment with something that you really want and something that you really desire and something that you really put your attention to, and funnily enough, we wanted to talk about love, but it was focused on money and career. It's like when you stop worrying about love and who might be coming in for you, then someone who matches your energy is coming in for you. And I think that is really beautiful here. Anything else about love? I do feel like this gives you a fresh feeling, okay? Again, with the Drano kind of image, it's like a really clean, crystal clean white toilet bowl, right? Everything else has been flushed and it just feels pristine. It smells good, like everything's great. And so, and maybe that's just it. You like no scrubs, no broke boys. So I feel like with the experimenter, you might be looking outside your usual type. And it's because you've demanded better for yourself. It's because you've leveled up for better for yourself. And you're standing up for better for yourself. And it's using it, when you're using this kind of devil energy and the King of Cups energy, mind you, together, that's really potent because there's a lot of hunger for your success. But if you notice, there is 2 thrones in this 10th house, right? There's 2 people that can find success here. There's 2 people that if we're better together, it's like you're going to get the support that you need. In fact, the Saturn energy is a supportive energy, even though it can be quite uncomfortable because it's and it can test tradition. Even though it can be built on tradition, it can test tradition. And so too, Pluto versus Saturn can test tradition. It's like the old way that it's been done. So when you're that full of passion and hunger for something, it's also going to come out in your love life. It's also going to come out in how you engage with someone. So you could really find yourself I have to say, call a thing, like turned on to someone immediately, turned on to someone, wow, that's my person. Like your carnal beast, if you will, immediately says, the words that just came to my mind, I can't even say, really says like, that's my person and we're going to have a lot of fun together. But it's in a really, talk to me about what I'm trying to say here with the King of Cups, please, when it comes to... I want you to know it's like, it feels quite long-term potential because, yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Right. I wanted to say it's not just this sexual energy that like feels one and done and that's it. And that's the experimenter is I'm like, having a little taste of everything on the dating smorgasbord. I don't feel like it's that, although it could be for you. But with this clarification of the Seven of Swords in reverse and the Ace of Cups, this is really saying your sacral chakra is giving you the biggest hell yeah, that's my person. This person who has ignited a fire here is also igniting the fire that, oh, you're gonna love me? Yeah, you're gonna love the heck out of me. It's like you want someone to be obsessed with you in the best possible way and vice versa. I want to sink my claws into someone. I want to trust that this, that my loins and my heart aren't leading me astray. And they're not, because this has been here the whole time. This clarity of, like drawing a line in the sand. And maybe, look, I have to entertain this possibility because the Judgment can talk about people coming back around, right? And we've got Mercury in retrograde coming up. So it's like this energy of if someone is coming back that you have been waiting on for a long time and you've been obsessing over for a long time, it's when, now let me make this 1000% clear. It's when you surrender, you detach, you're unbothered. In fact, you're in limbo because you're not thinking about, well, when are they coming and when are we moving in and when are we getting married? That's under the stuckness. That's under the new perspective. So it's like, okay, it's reality. This situation is stuck. It's going nowhere. Chariot in reverse. Three of Cups in reverse. So I'm going to be a little bit more independent and I'm not going to lie to myself. And I'm going to focus on my career and money and I'm going to do what's best for me. And if I'm strong and secure enough to not just experiment as I see fit, but to detach, right? As I see fit, attach only to my soul. I like that. Myself and my goal. Then someone might come back around and you can trust that this person has unconditional love for you and they're extremely drawn to your passion for what it is that you're doing. The fact that you're not looking at them energetically, physically, whichever way you want to, telepathically, you're not paying them any mind, no attention. And it's then that the karmic contracts, right, are broken and this person can come back anew, okay? And then two people can build something together beautifully. It may be someone new though, really. And so please don't hold on to that. Instead, just focus on what you need to focus on to move yourself forward and celebrate yourself, because other people will soon provide more vehicles for your growth and more reasons for you to party in the best possible way. It's shared joy too. This is shared joy. This is not something where it's like one person only gets the praise and everyone did the work, which I feel like is something that you were coming from. It's like, actually, if it wasn't for this person reaching out to me and giving me that contract, if it wasn't for, honestly, even a little bit of, and you might not want to celebrate with these people, but the people that were holding you back when this was in reverse, who were inadvertently just getting a little lackadaisy about things and, they're at the pub having a chat instead of planning an event, right? The Three of Cups, planning a celebration because as a community, we achieved something amazing. They're just, trying to, in their drunken state, get some clout for something that they did 10 years ago, 10 months ago. And you're like, hang on, this is old. This has been done. When are we going to step up? And I feel like it's no longer a we. And so you might start in a weird way, celebrating thanks to those people, I got out of my own way. Because no one's holding you back except for yourself. Okay? Let me get some advice for you here for the month of November for pile 1. Stay deeply in touch with your spirit. Listen to what it needs to feel nurtured, strong, and whole. That too. Yeah. And you're looking at everything this month. You're looking at, how do I truly love myself? Well, I truly love myself by setting myself up for lifelong success. And I do feel like there's something really calling your spirit, that hunger, that desire, that animalistic need for change and for better. And sometimes, you know, you're born for more and you know it. You know it. And so it's about time, and you're using all the energy. Everything is perfectly aligned for this to happen. It's going to be intense. It could be a reckoning. But again, it's an evolution that clears the way. And I think it's such a beautiful experiment that pays off. Okay, I hope that helps. Please ground yourself. Take a deep breath. Sit on the grass, the sand, the dirt. If this does resonate, if you'd like to get a personal reading with me, the link is in my description box. Just make sure that you carefully read the description in the Etsy store, so that you can ask the questions that you need to get answered. If I have to message you, it kind of slows the process down, and then the next person in line who does have all their information provided straight away will go first. So that's just a really important kind of housekeeping part there. And yeah, if you're not already subscribed, I'd love to see you again. And I mentioned in the intro that I'm changing my memberships. And so we're going to do extendeds where it feels necessary. We're going to do some spicy content and members view first videos in there as well. So look for the join button, and that might be something that might be up your alley. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in pile number 2. If you chose the blue heart, this is your reading and this is your card. You got card number 1, the warrior. I ask for what I want because I deserve to get what I want. Being very clear, being very direct, knowing what you want to start with, actually. This is very magician energy, even though I feel like pile number 1 had big magician energy. I also feel like this is very King of Swords energy, and maybe it is that warrior. But it also feels like King of Swords, I know what I want, and I know how to ask for what I want. I know how to communicate what I want. Actually, let's start with this deck. Now, pile number 1 kind of set the tone for everything. So Spirit just wants me to go for it. And we're blending love and money and career together. What does pile number 2 need to know? So we have Numinous, which is a mysterious energy. We have Trine and Flow, Square and Challenge. The 3rd house, which is Perception, and 4th house of Roots. So I do feel like there is a desire to feel more stable, and that's what could be triggering this. I need to ask for what I want because I deserve to get it. And it's the 3rd house talks about communication and adjusting our speech in challenging times, and knowing that like what I want, it might not be fully concrete just yet. With the 4th house and the mystery energy here, it's like what I want might not be fully concrete. So I don't know how to describe it, from walking through the front door to what room is next. But I know there needs to be a plan and a plot and a foundation. Okay. And so there's a part energy of learning to go with the flow, and then part energy of saying, okay, I'm going to be flexible enough, because you could be dealing with someone or some kind of authority or some kind of, and this could be like a local council to get something approved. It could be legalities in general. and I also feel like the planets play a part in November with the Mercury in retrograde, and there are some intense forces at play, not just with that. I'm not an astrologist, but like Mars comes into the picture at one point, and it's like there could be explosive energy that is unnecessary, but you also want to use the energy that you're feeling right now to be like, well, I don't want to waste any time. I'm not going to hold off on living because of the planets. And that's a really good place. And please, if you were thinking to yourself, I'm going to hold off because of the planets, you have every right to do that. However, I think there's a lesson in the challenges that could pop up in November that teach you how to be more flexible with how you communicate to certain people. So you could be a chameleon in social situations, and you could be like, I can make friends with all different walks of life. I definitely feel like that kind of person. And I was about to say, and I think I should say, if I'm wearing the right outfit, okay, I often feel overdressed in a lot of situations, but that's because I'm in Australia. I'm in a regional area, right? But when I am with my business mentors and when I'm with people who I congregate in places overseas with, then I often feel slightly underdressed, or I feel slightly less confident, but I trust that my heart and my soul and the knowledge that it's taken me to earn a spot to get to this meeting means that I should be taken I should be taken for those qualities rather than what I look like. And that gives me strength and that gives me confidence, because they are actually very accepting, and people are more accepting at the upper echelons, let's call it, of people being their authentic self than the people perhaps in the middle who, and I could be like making some broad statements, but in this case, I feel like it applies. The people in the middle who are halfway there and halfway not are the ones who are hardest on themselves, because they are not doing the 20% that's going to get them the 80% of the results. They're kind of just fluffing around with extra stuff, which happens when, if you get a bit of money and then you're buying 3 cars that you didn't need instead of using that money to advance in other ways. Whether that is through educating themselves to then make better decisions, or whether that is hiring someone who's going to help them make better decisions with their money. And so they can become quite judgmental, and you get that kind of tall poppy syndrome mentality going on, where those people are going to be more harsh on anyone who is seen trying to get out of that rat race, right? That matrix, as some people would refer it to. And so you're realizing this month, which is a huge lesson to learn, and maybe it's worth being adaptable for instead of avoiding this month, right? That you put your words together in a way that if you feel challenged, you take a deep breath and you're still able to communicate what you need from this situation. I feel like this, it could just be that you have to open your mouth to someone, and because this is all about asking, right? It's asking for what you want and stabilizing something. It could be to purchase a home. It could be to renovate a home. It could be to get a lease on a home. It can also be about asking for time off, or asking for someone to treat you a certain way that respects your boundaries and your self-care, so that you can look after your inner world better. Asking for what I know I deserve that stabilizes my nervous system as well as my living arrangements, okay? You can't really see that, so I'm just going to put him in here. Excuse me. It's giving you, you know that you, like, again, it's asking for a certain level of comfort that can feel challenging, because who am I to ask for it? But you realize pretty quickly, once you say what you need to say without sugarcoating, without deflecting, without the nervous laugh afterwards, without the feeling of silences, okay? You know, when you ask for something and you're nervous about it and you're like, hey, I was wondering, like, just if you wanted to, it's okay if not, if I could get this time off so I can do X and X and X and X because I need to blah, 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 blah. And you over justify why you need it. And then you're like, please, that'd be amazing. I'm so grateful. Like, you're the best. And you're feeling the silence instead of just saying, hey, boss, I need to take this and this and this and this day off. Silence. That's simplifying what feels like a really quite a profound shift. It could be that. It could be that you have to ask your boss for time off and you really don't want to, but you actually really do want to. Now, it's after you say something so directly that you really feel like, hang on a minute, that was kind of easy. I could do that more often. And it really feels like it's empowering you. Actually, the word here is energizing you. It feels like it makes things a lot easier to not, deflect. You could be asking a partner to move in with you. You could be asking a partner to move out, because it could be like, hey, we don't really know where we're going, right? But I'll get to that, because I do feel like the love message is also profound, but it's just not is super clear right now, and I don't want to jump to any conclusions. Talk to me about this situation. Yeah, there we go. Magician in reverse. Whoa, 10 of Cups. Flying out, right? It's lubricated. That card was like, ooh, let's go. So you've really been holding on to anxiety, worry, and you're finally stepping into a warrior is calm. That's their greatest gift. That's their greatest shield, is that they're calm. 8 of Cups, 7 of Pentacles, 6 of Swords. Bottom of the deck is Justice. Yeah. This could be asking for a divorce. Just with that challenge energy. It could even be asking someone to, like, will you marry me? But it's been a challenging situation, okay? Especially with this 10 of Cups. It's like, that could be either which way, because that's usually like a family kind of energy of family happiness. But it can also be like family happiness and like feeling like you are able to seek that now once you get rid of someone. Because I feel like in some way you've either manipulated your own thoughts or someone else has been trying to manipulate you. Or again, I want to say like some kind of, maybe you feel like the justice system has manipulated you 100%. Like there's definitely times with societal laws, taxes, politics, that kind of stuff where it's so unfair. You're like, how are we getting punished and penalized when we're the ones who are trying to do better and trying to get out of that rat race? It costs us such a great deal compared to people who are lazy, chilling, sitting back on benefits that they shouldn't be on, taking away from people who really need it. You know, it's unfair. It is. It's unjust. But I do feel here that a sense of fairness will be prevailed. Like, I feel like some karmic debts are really getting paid off here and are getting, I want to actually say dissolved, because you're fearlessly, okay, you're putting the fear aside and you're calmly asking for what you need and what you want. And so then you're not unfulfilling, then you're fulfilling the unfulfilled potential that has been heavily weighing on you. It's these two swords that are crossed in this square challenge. That's a denial of, for a long time, perhaps trying to fit into a square peg when you're around, into a square hole when you're a round peg. You know, it's frustrating. It's like, it takes a lot of, how am I meant to morph myself into that when that's not who I am? You're wasting your energy. You're wasting your life force energy. It scatters your energy, really, when we're like that. But if we can bring all our energy back into flow, we flourish in such a beautiful, and I want to say elegant way. It's a newfound balance that is like a natural law. Justice, it feels like a natural law. It's a natural truth. It was destined to happen. So expect the best kind of outcome from whatever it is that you seem to be needing to do in terms of business, career, money, or even in love, because it's a tense situation. It has the potential to be a tense situation, but you're facing it with calm. Okay. And with this, like, moving on energy, the Magician, the 10 of Cups, and the 8 of Cups is really saying you're long, and actually that's perfect. The 7 of Pentacles, perfect energy here. The 6 of Swords. All of these end cards here are saying it was never wasted. Here we're talking about, oh, it's just wasted potential. I've been with this person for 10 years. Or I've been alone for 10 years. That's wasted. Whichever way it floats for you, because it can go either way. And that's wasted time. All of that effort wasted. But actually, if we're moving into a new situation, if we're transitioning and we're leaving an old situation behind, everything that went before has added to the layers of who you've become now, who can now face this situation in a new way. I also feel like if you're, things can change in relationships. If you feel like you're someone who is leaving potentially an unhealthy relationship where someone saw your magic, and potentially you are quite psychic, quite empathic, especially with the trine and flow energy here. Perhaps you have really worked on yourself and your partner did not love that. And so they wanted to squash that out of you. They wanted to be like, what are you doing? That is ridiculous. Like, get with the program, come back to planet Earth, you bloody fairy. Right? And you might be like, actually, you wake up one morning and you say, there's got to be more to life. And that resolve that you have of 100% yes, there's got to be more to life. I know it because I see it around me. I know it because I had that once before. I'd rather be alone and happy with my own friends and family. I know that a better love is out there. That's this kind of hope. And especially with Justice and then the star underneath, okay? It's a better type of love. I know that a better type of love exists. There is a slight message here that I have to address as well, that there could be someone could be someone who has an overlapping situation. No judgment. But this 10 of Cups in the upright is saying that you may have found fulfillment elsewhere. And so you might feel out of touch with the situation that is happening right now. But I do get the sense that someone has been trying to steal your magic, but you are like, hang on a minute. I didn't dream these things. I didn't see these things. I didn't have this vision for myself. And maybe it's actual visions, okay? Maybe it's you're realizing your spirituality, your spiritual powers, because we all have them. Knowing the unknowable. I didn't have this just to not do anything with it. So if I can move on from the current situation, and yeah, I might feel like I'm abandoning something, I'm going to get myself into a lot more stability. I might feel stable because someone's got money right now, but it's a challenge that I'm finally uncrossing the swords of denial and I'm seeing clearly on. And that means that you will be able to make better long-term investments in the future based on what you have already hard worked through, okay, based on what you've already planted and nurtured and cropped. I don't know about crops, but whatever you did to make sure that, that crop grew successfully. I feel like there's another message like bubbling up here. What are you trying to say? Okay. Yeah. Ooh, can't. That was the Lover's card, which I haven't put any stickers on for this deck. Okay. They also want to bring in just an extra point in this storyline, that just because you know that happiness can exist, happy, blissful, loving, unconditional family love, whatever that means to you, can exist, it doesn't mean you have to rush into it. Especially with the Seven of Pentacles, it could be, I need to rebuild my coffers. I need to, if we're getting a divorce, right? Justice, fourth house, the square and challenge. I don't know how I'm going to feel until that's done. Okay, I can have an idea of it, but I don't truly know how I'm going to feel until that's done. And so then I need to move on, and with the, split of assets between us, I'm going to sit on that for a moment. I'm going to introspect on that for a moment. You're not rushing into anything else. So the kind of storyline where there could be someone else, even if that still stands, I don't see you rushing into, and even the Six of Swords isn't super rushed. Yes, you're moving out of something that was quite chaotic and you're seeking refuge. To be completely honest, this card talks about seeking refuge and putting distance between any manipulation. And the fact that the Magician is here, and it's like this, it is kind of like an illusion, smoke and mirrors. If you think about a magician and you're like, oh yeah, that's a load of hogwash. Or you think about moving with your manifestations and you're like, yeah, I can do that. Right? They're very similar energies, the Numinous and the mystery energy. The illusion is that once you land on the island of sanctuary, that you're going to be okay. But you also have to accept the lessons that came before. And you also have to develop new skills, because we turn this Magician around, and the warrior, that you might be born a magician, you might be born a warrior, absolutely, but it doesn't mean that you immediately feel confident to use those skills. You might need to hone them, and same with psychic ability. It can scare you at first a little bit. I definitely, just to overshare a little bit in this as well, my sister is coming to terms with her gifts, and it can be quite scary at times, quite overwhelming at times. And she's hit with it in different ways and handles it in different ways than I do. And so we have to kind of relearn how to, now that we're exposed in a new way, I guess. Although we believe in happiness, we have to also look at all our options. And with the Lovers here, it's also a choice. Okay, it's also a choice to say, okay, I choose you, but will you be patient with me? Okay, and when it comes to money as well, you're saying like, okay, if I'm going to be making this business decision, or I'm going to be making this property decision, just because we buy it doesn't mean that we're then immediately going to have joy. It might need a lot of work, right? And so we need to look at all our options. Do we renovate it? Do we flip it? Do we sit on it? Do we Airbnb it? Do we rent it out? And so again, learning something. And I do feel like the law keeps you accountable in that sense, that, well, it's going to keep costing me money. Like I said, taxes and stuff like that. Like, it's going to keep costing me money if I stay in a state of denial. If I stay in a state of, I don't know what to do with that. And because something has been an illusion before, like claiming that it's an illusion, I just didn't know. It doesn't always work in the real world. Okay. And so there is this sense of committing to, understanding something and shedding light on different options so that we can choose the best option. And it could be that you want to create like an office from home, and how are you going to do that? Or like open a business in your garage, or a salon in one room of your home, something like that, and you need to get approval for it. Okay. It could even be that your partner, if you are in the situation where someone's moving in with you, that there is like boundaries around, okay, well, what are our options to make this work so we can have a really great, loving relationship, but also avoid any chaos that perhaps we had before, whether we were in another house or whether, we didn't live together, but there were opposing forces as to why we weren't living together. And it's asking you to say, again, I ask for boundaries. I ask for respect. I ask for a certain amount of money to be contributed to the household. Interesting message. I feel like there's more to this. Is there anything else in the month of November? Things will speed up and you'll get better at asking. The more you start asking for what you want and how you need it, and actually asking questions, the more you will start to love your life. And it's spinning on the Lovers card here. The King of Cups is spinning on the Lovers card. The more someone really will start respecting you and start showing up as that kind of person. It's a train your puppy kind of energy. I know that's not the nicest way to say it, but it really is. And I think I said boss dog before. That might have been pile number 1. But it's like you can actually start to enjoy more fun, lighthearted, loving, maybe even sexy conversations based on a whole new level of respect. Once you keep asking good questions, the illusions start to fade away. Now we have the moon in reverse, which doesn't always equal the sun, but it does mean that, this magician is turned around. It does mean that this mysterious energy is like manageable, right? My spirituality, the connection that I have to the divine, my triggered emotions become more usable emotions, okay? So I think November for you, pile 2, is full of a lot of lessons that bring a lot of new into your life, because I want to talk about the sun energy that's kind of just in the horizon. Like it's just peeking over, the sun's just peeking over the hills. It's starting to rise. So I feel like December, if not January, is going to bring a lot of new, happier times. But you have the vision already. You already know that I need to be flexible over the next coming months in order to really hone in. This is like where I want to be, what I want to do. And I know that I have the resources to be able to do it if I move on from something else. If I move on from holding myself back. If I move on from that location. If I move on from, the tax kind of chokehold that I'm in. If I can put myself in a new tax bracket through these decisions and through asking questions to get myself, like, we don't know what we don't know, but if we ask a better question each time, we're going to find out more information. And again, you're doing this in the face of calm, and that is perfect energy for the big moves that you're making, and perfect energy to enjoy your holiday season, and then really like launch into that joy in January. Bottom of the deck is the King of Wands. So I do feel like things are speeding up, and spiritually speeding up for you as well. That your beliefs will start aligning. You'll feel more energized overall. You won't feel so controlled. You've created wiggle room for yourself. You've created flow for yourself. And now you have a new perspective on what stability can and will look like for you in the future. I love that. Surround yourself with things you enjoy looking at, listening to, or sharing your space with. Yeah, right? People, places, things that give you energy and things that bring you peace. Yeah, that's the whole energy I've felt during this entire reading, is a sense of it doesn't matter. It's cool, calm, and collected. I'm going to find out. It's a quiet determination, and it's paying off. Again, it's like not super social energy, to be completely honest. But it's getting you into a better place come the new year. And sometimes that's what's really needed in order to wrap things up, as people start doing at this time of year. Okay, it's finding the light that's going to lead the way for 2026. I hope this has been useful. If this does resonate, let me know in the comments below. And if you'd like to dive deeper into this, you can book a personal reading with me in the link in the description box. I just ask that you read the Etsy descriptions really carefully so that you can send me your questions so I can get to your reading in a timely manner. Otherwise, the person who has entered all their details correctly will be the next in line while I wait for you to get back to me, so it can kind of slow your reading down a little bit. I am changing my memberships. If you heard at the beginning, I'm changing my memberships here on YouTube to be extendeds where I feel they're necessary. First view for members on certain videos, and some spicy content that I was planning to do on TikTok, but it never really took off. And I think it's just a safer place to do it, in fact, on YouTube. So that'll be all there. Look for the join button, and we can create a beautiful little community in there. But thank you so much. Please ground yourself, ground your energy. You are a warrior. Ask for what you want because you do deserve it. And I hope you have an amazing month. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. In the next one. Bye. Pile number 3, if you chose the white heart, this is your reading. This is your card. You got card 4, the nurturer. I deserve to feel nurtured because I give care to those I cherish. Very 4th house, very Cancer energy, very Empress energy, dare I say. So please listen to this in 1.5 speed if you are triggered by how slow I'm speaking. There's something about the readings today that have really asked me to slow down, and I want to be able to draw messages. There's a lot going on. When you're channeling, there's a lot that kind of comes through, and if you watch my mini readings, you might notice that sometimes I'm tripping over my words. I get cut off. I'll start one sentence, I'll get interrupted by a channeled thought and completely flip the script, right? And so I wanted to, with these card readings, and because we're covering everything in November, we're covering love and money and career in one reading, I really wanted to get as much depth as possible and listen to spirit, okay? And so that might be a big thing that you might need to do as well, because I actually didn't mention that to the other piles. I just felt like I was speaking a lot slower even with that card, and I know that I like to listen to things quite quickly. Just because it's coming out slow doesn't mean you have to listen to it slow. However, I do feel like you might have a message in needing to do the same, to slow down your speech so that you can slow down your thinking, so that you can hear everything that you're thinking, so that you can heal, empower, and then transform. And spirit is kind of giving us a mixed bag in how they're delivering the messages. So the love and the money portions are all intertwined here. That's the sun energy. Let me move this over so you can see. So we have Virgo the Alchemist, conjunction, empowerment, Chiron or I don't know how everyone else says it. I call it Chiron, which is healing, Pisces the mystic, and sun and bean. Beautiful energy, to be honest. Wow. This is a really positive reading. There's a big emphasis here on listening. And I feel like it's coming from your traditional values of respect with this Virgo energy showing up here. Now, this Virgo alchemist energy often, to me, speaks of something subtly powerful in methodology in your everyday, in step by step, by list, by tick, tick, tick. This is how we're getting things done. And I feel like it often speaks about health. It doesn't have to, but in this case, I feel like listening to your body and listening to those who, and I want to say listening to your higher self, but it could be even listening to those who really care about you. So it could be that you're going to seek naturopathic help, especially with that Empress energy that's coming up with the nurturer, or even like a yogi teacher. It could be a motivational speaker, or it could be like even an influencer who is extremely sound for you, that is extremely positive for you, who gives you a sense of, oh yes, I just got to go and do that, and that speaks to me. And it's not because they're full of hot air and they're getting paid for it, even if they are. There's something that resonates deeply with you about this person that cracks you open, okay? It's like them sharing their story of how they empowered themselves through healing and health, and by listening to their spiritual body, their physical body. You know, if you follow me on Instagram, on my other account, that's what I'm all about there. Being physically, emotionally, financially fit, okay? And the emotional, it's obviously spiritual as well. This is pretty cut and dry, actually. This is pretty, I mean, it's doing this so you can take care of your kids, okay? There's a strong fatherly energy there with the sun, but there's a Empress energy here with the mothering energy. And Pisces can be a mothering energy as well. And maybe you need to be a carer for someone else. And it's, what's that movie with Emilia Clarke? And she has the cute shoes and she looks after the guy who has like an attitude problem at first, but he's giving her a hard time. Beautiful movie. And it's like, she was such a sunshine, a ray of sunshine to this guy, and her whole personality was that, and she wasn't shooketh out of that by his, wasn't shaken out of it by his attitude and his negativity. In fact, it's like, that's the thing. Smiles are easier to spread, and it's like, that's the thing that's driving you to continue this empowering, healthy journey, is perhaps not the validation that you get from anyone else, but that you're determined to show others just how fun it is to be healthy and happy. And it's a healthy mindset. There's also the energy here of, if you're trying to procreate with someone, that there's healing required on both sides, and that it's necessary to perhaps ask for or listen to, really. I feel like you don't have to ask. It's like the information is already there, or you're already experiencing, or you're already turning up to something, but you aren't really taking it on just yet. You definitely will. And if you're trying to procreate, there's some insights, and perhaps they're a little bit alternative, right? Even though Virgo is quite a traditionalist, there could be something that you try that really gets things moving again, in that sense, okay? Gets your essence firing. If you know what I mean. They're wanting me to say that there is a strong lean towards alternative therapies and medicines here. I'm not a medical professional by any means, so please, check everything with a doctor or health professional before starting anything. But I get the sense that, like, it's this woo-woo, okay? That someone might have dreamt about the side effects of pills. And I want to say particularly the blue pill. and how negative or some negative connotations for the masculine could come around from that. And so, you know, they awaken to a new way. And it could be that you've never really awoken to a new way, and maybe as woo as you got was watching tarot readings, and here you are now going to a naturopath, like, or a Chinese herbalist or something like that. Be very careful about what you take from just randoms. Just with the mushroom showing up here, just be very careful. Okay. What else does pile number 3 need to know for November when it comes to money, career, and love? Health is wealth. That's a big thing that's coming through here. And especially when we are such busy people, when most of us have at least 2 streams of income or 2 jobs. And, you know, there's this very easy vortex to fall into of overdoing things and the hustle and grind. And that's that 9 of Pentacles actually in reverse there. It's that workaholic kind of energy where you'd actually make more money if you chilled the F out, you know. Wow, that was more cards than I expected. But bottom of the deck is the Knight of Pentacles, excuse me. Let me move this across even more. Hope that you can see everything. So the Knight of Pentacles talks about something being slow moving. So again, it's not going to happen overnight. Okay, it's not a quick fix. Health is not a quick fix here. Nine of Pentacles in reverse, High Priestess, 2 of Pentacles, the Lovers, Ace of Wands, and the Queen of Wands. Man, these cards are so pretty. I don't know why I don't use them more often. Also, they're incredible to shuffle and nice and thick. I do often list all the decks that I use in the description box if you're wondering. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot that's going on, but it's like an agreement between 2 people, or it's a choice that's been made individually that affects other people. And I think it can be both too. It's not and or, it's either or. It's either end. You also have with this Ace of Wands that it really re-energizes you. Really re-energizes you. And the Queen of Wands. I feel like this is a beautiful, like, sensual energy that gets things, like I said, really firing on all cylinders. Oh, Leo and the Lover at the bottom of that deck as well. Yeah, it's really getting, like, the momentum happening, okay, that could be needed. So this doesn't just have to be about partnership and making babies. This can be about like reconnecting with your partner in order to feel nourished and cherished, and, you know, in order to feel connected to someone, especially if you feel like there's been a health issue. Specifically, I want to say within the womb space with that number 4 card coming out first, and with the egg kind of being cracked open here. So in the sacral chakra, there could have been some issues that prevented you from feeling really confident and sexy and like you can get out and date, and perhaps a breakup has triggered that response again because you're like, well, I was in a safe relationship, so I thought I was in a long-term relationship, and but I was actually holding quite a lot of, and I want to use the word trauma, but take it however you need to. We do hold a lot of emotions, and the feminine womb space does hold like the energy of past lovers in that space. I do talk about that to certain clients of mine. It does come up more than you think, to the point that over the years of doing this, and because my own spiritual awakening was strongly linked to a similar vein, that I have a link in my description box as well, for a place, a community, a website, and there's heaps of blogs and information on there as well that talks about healing the womb space. So if that is something that resonates here with you and you want to heal that space, there is that information coming from me, again, not a professional, but that is led by a team of professionals. And I do have like a coupon code, or whatever you want to call it, discount code, and a referral link there for you, just to be completely transparent. But that's how much I believe in it. And I don't just represent anything, you know. So there is divine love coming through. And with this healing of the sacral chakra, because we don't want to just gender this to feminine energies, the kind of deep healing that, yes, it might shed tears, but it could also shed tears the Sabrina Carpenter way, if you know that song, okay? It could really lead to opening the floodgates, okay? We're talking about fireworks, we're talking about floodgates, but not just in a partnership. It's so that you can find a deep and believe in a deep love and soul connection again, if that's what you're looking for, okay? You'll be able to find the perfect fit for you. And it might mean that, you know, this could be something that wants to take over your whole life, because it's so, when we have pain or we have ailments in that area, it can take such a hit on all the other chakras that it can feel like it's taking over the rest of our lives. And so it's really important that you find balance to like lower stress, your cortisol levels, especially with this Nine of Pentacles in reverse, because it could mean that you really need a clear space. And clear space in that, like as a Reiki healer as well, we need to clear that space probably more than anything. And it can really hold you back from making more money, not just from like living a healthy life. So then that's like breaking down the whole health is wealth situation. It's like the less you do right now that is out of alignment and overworked and is superficial, and the less that you have right now that is clogging up that energy. This could be synthetic underwear. This could be like just too many clothes in your closet that you don't wear and you're holding on to. It can be buying the same food that you've always had, but actually like you're only eating it because it's in the pantry. Like if you actually took it out, you would not crave it. You're only eating it with your eyeballs because you see it in the cupboard. You know, it's like really clearing out your space. It's clearing out old programs and paradigms of what you know that has potentially held you back. And it's clearing out perhaps even the idea that you need to hold so tightly to tradition, and that you have to hold so tightly to, well, I must get my list done every single day. It's like allowing, and this is something that I realized about myself. I went from being a really high functioning young person who would get straight A's and then would dance and teach dance at a very young age until like 9 p.m. at night, or work. Once I turned 14, 9 months, I got a job straight away. I was working in different family businesses up until that, and dance teaching. And then I would go to work, get bullied until like midnight, and then I'd have to get up and do it all again as a young person going to school. And like it was a lot. And I think, wow, how did I not burn out by the time I did my high school certificate? Like I was just, and maybe I did, because after that I was like, I never want to study again. I did like 1 year of design school, which is all I needed to do to get a diploma. And then over the years, I just studied things that interested me as they came along. I actually didn't go to university. And I say that like actually like it's a bad thing, but it was very common for the school I was at for every single person to go to university. In fact, when I met with like the guidance counselor, the careers counselor, they didn't even give me any other option. They didn't tell me that there was such a thing as a tarot reader. No way. Or, you know, an artist could make money. Like those, it just wasn't something that was discussed. It was, well, are you going to be a doctor? Are you going to be a dentist? Are you going to be a nurse? Like, are you going to be a school teacher? And nothing wrong with that, but it's not for everyone. And I think that your soul and your physical body is telling you that something has to give. And I think that you do have a lot of creative energy that perhaps has been suffocated for a while. And you need to start listening to that inner voice. And again, regardless of gender, divine feminine, divine masculine aren't gendered. You have to start listening to that divine feminine energy that's asking you to soften a little bit. And this can be something that is done in private as well. That's something I need to discuss with the high priestess. You can do all of this in private, especially if you come from a hustle and grind kind of culture. And, you know, it's funny the things we fear subconsciously, but I need to address that perhaps some of you were even scared of being successful if we turn the Nine of Pentacles around. If I'm successful and I'm making money by myself, or I'm making more money than my partner who might be a masculine energy, again, regardless of gender, I'm scared that I might be judged for that and that people might, you know, shame me for that. How did she do that? She must be selling herself online. Like, there's something around like not wanting to appear to want too much, which is actually a fine thread that has run through each of the readings in a strange way today. The idea that we can expect more, or we deserve more, and we're allowed to ask for it. We're allowed to go and get it. We're allowed to change up the way we do things, even if we've been doing them forever. And it doesn't mean we're completely changing our personality, but in some cases that's what we need to do. But it's just asking for a level of luxury, right? The nurturing and care that you give to others is something you deserve to feel as well. And if that requires like a beautiful space, then so be it, because the nurturer card and the number 4 can also talk about home. And so if there's a period where you actually need to call off work for a while and it's allowed to be done, or you're able to work from home because this multitasking energy is here, I feel like it's going to be extremely beneficial to you. It might be that it slows the flow of money down a little bit, or you could feel like I'm used to getting results in my hustle and grind culture immediately, which it's not that it's not immediate. You might see an immediate transition, but over time, things will start to speed up more and more, okay? Things will improve over time. It's like this isn't a car that's going to go from 0 to 100 in 60 seconds. This is going to take a little bit longer than that. I actually want to leave the 7 of Pentacles out there. This is like a jump start to your health, which then in turn has a knock-on effect to a jump start in a new way of you making money, or a new way of you believing that you have to make money. And again, something that I also always talk about, it's reprioritizing for you, and it's making it extremely clear for you what you actually have to do. And I know that's such a basic statement, but we get so hung up on doing so many things that don't make us the money that really counts. And so you could be setting up office for 3 days. You could be sending emails and fielding questions for 3 days. But did you actually do that one thing that was, oh, I needed to create, let's say you're an artist, right? I needed to create a new piece of work because I have a client that asked for a commission. Okay, but I was, that's probably not the best example. Let me say you have a bunch of artwork that is for sale, but you haven't finished the website. You might have it underway, but you're obsessing over how the checkout process works. It's like something doesn't need to be perfect just yet. You're obsessing over the words you use. You're obsessing over the logo, like that kind of thing. The things that matter are getting it up to start with. Then you can look at, well, how's the checkout process? And if someone really wants your stuff, they're going to find a way to get it. But are you blocking that from happening because you're not even A, creating the art, or B, providing a platform for people to buy it easily from you? You can adjust as you go. As your health adjusts, your love life adjusts, you form better relationships because you're happier, because you're more confident, strongly more confident. And when you're more confident, that sacral energy, that sacral space comes alive, and the creative juices come out of you like nothing else. And that in turn, like all of these things, it's like this beautiful loop. In fact, I want to kind of put it as the infinity symbol, right? As an 8 on its side, double 4. And that's interesting because it's like two people doing this, the Lovers card, two people doing this soulmate kind of connection, two people loving themselves enough to take good care of themselves and digging into shadows. Okay, why am I so full of anxiety? Why am I so stressed? Why am I holding on to these old paradigms? And why don't I just connect to that sacred knowledge that I have in me that says, actually, this isn't great for me, you know? And what I was getting at before that I didn't finish is when I came from that energy of an overachieving child and then, you know, went into a career where I was hustle all the time, was like, yeah, no, that's fine. You don't have to pay me because we're both working on this and then it will eventually turn into something amazing. I've stressed myself out in an industry that was not for me at all. I stressed myself out and therefore I stressed other people out. I pushed away friends inadvertently, family inadvertently, and they were worried about me because of the way that I had become so busy that I didn't really realize what was important. Or that in a way, it was like I was being manipulated, okay? And so to step away from that, it can be scary because we're losing money. I'm losing stability. I'm losing what I had built up, okay? But what I found is that I don't do well with high intensity cardio. I don't do well with routines that start at 5 a.m. and are completely locked in. What I do well with is I wake up naturally with the sun, no matter what time it is. And so, like, I wear a watch all the time and I'm aware of time, but I like a life where my routine will change slightly each day based on how I feel. And to some people that might feel extremely like, that's irresponsible. Like, how do you live like that? I mean, for starters, I don't have children, so it's a lot easier, but I get more benefit when I know when I move in a way that is suitable to me. So I still have my to-do list and I still get everything done, but I'm more empowered with that to-do list once I healed my stress hormones and my stress programming so that I could tap more. And funnily enough, when I let go of all of that, my spiritual awakening met the sexual awakening that was like, oh my goodness, there's got to be more to life than this. Like, I'm just a freaking robot. Where's connection in my life? Where is depth in my life? It doesn't exist. And then I started, you know, sharing what was coming naturally to me, but I had repressed for so long. And now I'm much, much happier for it. And from here, right, you make a lot more money, but it's just steadier. It's steady in a new direction. It's pacing yourself. Interesting. Anything else for pile number 3? Yeah, rest. You could invest in, I was going to say a retreat, but they wanted to actually say sauna time. Okay, infrared sauna with the pink on that card. This could also be, if it's not a retreat, it's some kind of like, they're kind of showing me like Bible study. I don't know if that's like someone has a beautiful blend of Christianity or something with spirituality. It's some kind of worship, but through like with a practice, like a book perhaps. High Priestess in reverse now. So Page of Swords, High Priestess in reverse. You're not going to get it right all the time. And living in the world that we do, it doesn't mean that we're always going to be living in our highest essence. In fact, a very clear message coming through just here is that you might need to do a digital detox because the internet can throw off our intuition. That's very true. It can block, it can cloud, it can doubt. Okay? And then you end up back in battles with yourself, with, you know, saying things that you don't mean, but also to yourself as well. And 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Swords, 5 of Pentacles. So you can like really crush your belief and progress. You can crush your belief and progress that you think, oh, I've reached the sanctuary. It doesn't make you, this is something a lot of people don't talk about enough, is having a spiritual awakening, becoming more aware of what's good for you. You know, it's like, there used to be that joke about how do you know if someone goes to CrossFit? Oh, they'll tell you about it. You know, it doesn't mean that we have to start shouting from the rooftops what we believe in and everyone else is wrong. And you don't want to fall into that kind of trap or start following people on the internet who, or in real life, who say that this is the one way you're meant to do things and that's it. Okay, so it can really trap you in a new kind of culty behavior, you know, so to speak, a new kind of matrix that isn't a sanctuary. You'll actually realize this is just another trap with a pretty facade. Okay, so be very careful to not repeat the pattern. How do they not repeat the pattern here? Take the rest you need. Otherwise, okay, so you might need to have an accountability buddy. Again, you might need to seek a third party. I deserve to feel nurtured because I give care to those I cherish. Now, it could be doing it with a partner because of the Lovers, or it's you and a partner and a mediator or a coach. Okay, anything else on that? Temperance. Yeah, be patient for the healing. Ace of Wands again. Lovely. This is really going to pay off. There could be a sex therapist involved. There could be a program that you follow, an app that you follow. Just make sure that you're like verifying your sources to begin with. And I do feel like there is the chance for both of the parties involved if you're doing this with a partner. If not a partner, then you get the 2 chances to launch something new. Sun, Ace of Wands, Ace of Wands. Launch a new passion project that you've always wanted to launch. And it's like poetry, it's music, it's dance, and it's maybe something that you do put online, but you're doing it in a way that is not following the script of someone else. It's not doctrinated. It's free and empowering, and it's healing to you. It's grounded in you. Okay. That was a really beautiful message and quite specific for you, pile number 3. So your final, your final advice is be fair to yourself by not carrying blame or regret for things beyond your control or feeling solely responsible for relationships that didn't work out as you hoped. Yeah, and that's for sure too. It's letting go of that past energy wherever it sits in your chakra centers for you. Okay. I love this. Be fair is really talking about justice there. So justice will prevail. This isn't an unfair situation. We just need to change the way that we see it. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Let me know if this resonates in the comments below. And if it does and you'd like to dive further into this, you can book a personal reading with me via my link in the description box. Just be really careful to read the descriptions in each of the Etsy listings so that you can ask the right questions for yourself and for your reading. If the questions and the information that I need isn't there, I have to move on to the next person while I wait for you to, you know, bring that information to me, which can really slow down your reading. So I just want to make you aware of that. And I have, if you didn't hear the intro, I have changed my memberships for YouTube, and I've changed it to extended readings where it feels like it's a natural progression to do so. There's going to be some saucy stuff in there as well, and first view for members also. So look for the join button to check that out. And please ground yourself, sit your butt on the grass, the sand, the dirt, Always seek professional advice. Give yourself a big warm hug. Drink your water. Sit in the sun. Okay. I wish the best for you. Have an amazing month. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.